In this tutorial, you are going to learn the best and most popular CSS framework, which is Tailwind CSS. And for practice, we are going to build Tesla landing page so you can understand the full workflow of using Tailwind CSS. And at the end, I will give you one bonus tip which will help you to improve in your web development career. So I am very excited about this and hope you are too. So let's get started. Let's talk about what you need to know to take this course. You need to know HTML and CSS basics because Tailwind CSS is a framework of CSS, so you need a clear understanding of CSS styling. That's it. If you know about these topics, you are ready to go. So what is Tailwind CSS and why is it so popular? Tailwind CSS is a utility-first CSS framework for creating modern designs quickly. In this definition, utility-first means it provides a set of predefined classes which usually apply a single style. For example, I want to set gray background to these 3 divs. One way is you define 3 different classes for divs and add background property in each class, which is not a good way to use CSS. Besides that, we can define one class named bg-gray and add background property in it. Now if we want gray background in any block or any tag, we just need to add class bg-gray. We don't need to create a new class for that. We simply reuse that class multiple times on our website. So Adam Wathan, who is the creator of Tailwind CSS, think about this approach and create a set of classes for each style. Nowadays, almost all styles are available in Tailwind CSS. We only need to add that class in our tag. There are a bunch of CSS frameworks like Bootstrap and Foundation. They work on a component-based approach, which means we get predefined components like alerts, cards, navigation bar, which looks almost similar on all websites. But in Tailwind CSS, we can create our own components from scratch without writing any CSS styles. Another purpose to use Tailwind CSS is to make your CSS lightweight, which means our website loading time will decrease. I will show you that later in this course. There are some more advantages of Tailwind CSS. It is easy to learn, it is highly customizable, which means we can change its styles or add our own styles. It makes the styling process much faster. We can safely use it in production. We can easily create responsive designs. It can be easily used with React, Angular, Laravel, Vue, any other framework. Tailwind CSS has also some disadvantages like its installation process is harder for beginners and our HTML markup looks ugly. But don't worry, in this course I will show you some easy tips and tricks for solving these problems. So let's get started. Alright, let's make sure you have the right setup before we start learning. The first thing I want you to do is to upgrade your node to the latest version. And if you don't have Node in your system, you can install it. So head over to nodejs.org and download the latest stable version for your operating system. After completing the download, open up Setup and install Node.js. If you are not comfortable with Node, don't worry, we only use Node for installation of Tailwind CSS. So after installing Node, open up your command prompt and write node-v and press enter to make sure you have installed Node successfully or not. If you get the version here, it means you successfully installed Node. Next, we are going to use Visual Studio Code or VS Code as a code editor. In case you don't have VS Code, you can get it from code.visualstudio.com. Now once you open VS Code, I want you to go to the extensions panel over here and search for Live Server. Make sure to install this extension because with this we can run our HTML file live in our browser. So you don't need to refresh your browser after changing the HTML code. This extension does it automatically. After that, search for Tailwind CSS Intelligence and also install this extension. This will help us for getting the autocomplete feature for all Tailwind classes. So we don't need to remember the full name of the classes. So we are done here. In the next lesson, I will show you how to install Tailwind CSS. There are 3 ways to install Tailwind CSS. First, using CDN link. Second, Tailwind CLI. Third, PostCSS. In this lesson, I will show you how you can install Tailwind CSS using CDN link, which means you only need to add Tailwind CDN link in your HTML file and that's it. You can start working on your project. So open up your folder in VS Code and create one HTML file here. And write exclamation mark and press tab. This will generate a basic HTML structure for you. That's why I love VS Code. Now head over to tailwindcss.com and press get started. And go to the place CDN section and copy this script tag and paste it in head section. Let's make sure it works or not. So create a paragraph tag and add some dummy text by lorem20 and press tab. Now I will add one class just for testing, text-5xl, and save it. Now right click on your HTML file and click on copy path. Now paste it in browser. See, we get our text in big font. Note that this CDN link is specially designed for development process and it's not the best choice for production. You can also install Tailwind using Tailwind CLI. It is the simplest and fastest way to install Tailwind CSS in your project by following these simple 5 steps. But if you are working on your client's project or you want to add auto prefix to your website, PostCSS is the best tool to install Tailwind. As you might know, not all CSS perform the same on all browsers. That's why we need auto prefix in our project. Here, auto prefix means Tailwind will generate styles with prefixes like WebKit, Moz, MS, etc., which I will show you later in this course. Now we are going to install Tailwind using PostCSS. So open a folder in which you want to install Tailwind CSS. Here, I create a new folder named Tailwind CSS and open it. Now open the built-in terminal of VS Code by pressing Ctrl plus backtick in Windows and Command plus backtick in Mac. Now back to Chrome and copy this first line and paste it in terminal and press enter. This command will install some packages like Tailwind CSS for Tailwind, PostCSS for making our website ready for production, and auto prefixer for generating prefixes automatically by Tailwind. After that, back to Chrome and copy this second line and paste it in terminal and hit enter. This will create tailwind.config.js file for configuration your project, like if you want to add your own color or anything you want to change. You can do that with the help of this file. Now back to Chrome and copy this code by clicking on this button. Back to VS Code. Here we have to create a new file named PostCSS.config.js and paste that code here and save it. Now in this step we are going to add our HTML file location in this tailwind.config file. So simply write double quotes dot slash public slash star star slash star dot html. Here public is our folder name and double star is for all folders inside public, and star.html means all HTML files. It simply means that Tailwind will build CSS according to HTML files in the public folder and subfolder. You can add this line if you are adding Tailwind in React, Vue, Angular or any other framework. Now back to VS Code and create a new folder named Tailwind. And inside this folder, create one main.css file. Now back to browser and copy these 3 lines of code and paste it in main.css file and save it. After that, we are going to build tailwind.css file. First of all, write npm init-y and press enter. It will create package.json file. Package.json file is basically a file that includes some basic information about your application, such as its name, its version, its authors, the address of its Git repository, its dependency, and so on. After that, we need to add the script in the package.json file for generating Tailwind CSS. So open package.json file and scroll down to the bottom, and in the script array write build colon in double quotes tailwind build dash I tailwind slash main dot css dash o public dash tailwind dot css and save it. So we successfully add a script for building Tailwind CSS. Here you have to write the exact same name of the folder which we create before. To run this script, go back to the terminal and type npm run build and press enter. Basically, this command will generate the tailwind.css file in the public folder from these 3 lines of code in main.css. If you open the folder public, in that you see tailwind.css file. And when you open the tailwind.css file, you see some predefined classes here. Now the last and final step, we will link this tailwind.css file in our HTML file. So create a new file in public folder, because we add this public folder in tailwind.config file. Now type ! and press tab. And in the head section, write link and press tab. And in the href, write tailwind.css and save it. For testing, I will create one paragraph tag and add some dummy text here. And in that tag, write one class text dash red. You see the autocomplete feature works. So I will select text dash red dash 500 and save it. Now right click on HTML file and click on open with live server. This will automatically run our HTML file. But here you see the text color is not changed because every time you change in the HTML file, you need to rebuild that tailwind.css file. In the next video, I will show you how you can do that automatically. Now we are going to add another script for continuously running build command when we save the file. First of all, open package.json file and copy this full line and write comma at the end. And in the new line, paste that same line and here write watch and at the end write -w and save it. Now open up your terminal and write npm run watch and press enter. Now this command will continuously watch our file, and when we save our HTML files, this will auto-generate the new CSS classes. So before you start working on your project, open the terminal and always write npm run watch. After that, you don't need to run the build command after every change. This is the power of git mode and Tailwind CSS. So back to browser and you see text color is changed to red. So congratulations, you completed the most difficult part of Tailwind CSS. Now in this lesson, we will update our build and watch script for use PostCSS to build our tailwind.css file. Make sure you stop watch script running in the terminal. Press Ctrl plus backtick or Command plus backtick for open terminal. And press Ctrl plus C or Command plus C and press Y and enter. After that, open up the package.json file and here in the script array, remove tailwind build-i and write PostCSS and do the same for the watch script. And before tailwind folder name, add // and save it. Basically, we will use PostCSS to build our tailwind.css file, and that will help us to optimize our CSS for production, which I will show you later in this course. So this is a small update. Now you can again run the watch script and continue with this course. In this section, we are going to learn some of the basic and advanced concepts of Tailwind, like how to use the documentation, most common classes, hover, focus, and active effects, concept of responsive design, dark mode, customized default style, declarative and functions, and much more. You will also love the exercises in this section, which will help you to understand these basic concepts quickly. After this section, we will create the Tesla landing page from scratch, so you understand the workflow of Tailwind CSS. So let's get started. In this lesson, I will show you how you can use Tailwind CSS documentation so you can find any styles from the official site and you don't need to rely on any courses or tutorials. First of all, head over to tailwindcss.com/docs. In the sidebar, there are some sections for different styles and almost all styles are available here. I want to tell you that you don't need to remember any class name. Whatever you want to find, just search it in this search bar and you will get that style page. For example, I want to change the background color of the body. So I click on this search bar and type background color and then click on this. It will lead us to this background color page. Here you can see tons of colors are available like black, white, transparent, and here you can see there are numbers like 50, 100, 200 up to 900, and as the number grows, the opacity will also increase. If I want to apply this color shade for the background, you can try any of them. So I will simply add class bg-gray-500 in the body and save it. Now take a look. So here are some common things which you find on every page is that there are two parts. One is for classes and the other one is for properties. It means whenever you add this class, this property will apply, and below it you can see an easy explanation about its main properties with example. Many times when I forgot that what this property do, I simply open the documentation and I get my all answers. So feel free to use documentation. After creating some projects in Tailwind CSS, you remember some of the classes name automatically. In this lesson, I will show you some classes which are used often when we create websites. First of all, I will show you about text colors which we are using to change color. So head over to Tailwind CSS Documentation and search text color. Here we can see there are tons of colors available by default with Tailwind. So let's apply this blue color to our text. First, I will create one paragraph tag and add dummy text here, and class equals to text-blue. And here you can see we get suggestions for Tailwind classes because of this Tailwind CSS intelligence extension. And we can also see a text color here. So select with the arrow key and press tab and save it. And remember, you always need to start that watcher script in your terminal. So start this script using npm run watch and press enter. And we see our text color changed to blue. So you don't need to remember any classes names. Let's see another example. If you want to add margin 1 to this text, then we search in search bar margin and press enter. Here you can see different classes for margin like mx0 for margin left and right 0, my0 for margin top and bottom 0, and mt for margin top, mr for margin right, and so on. Now we need to find margin 1 rem property. There are two ways to find your style. First one, by scrolling down and manually search it, which is not a smart way. Smart method is press Ctrl plus F in Windows and Command plus F in Mac and type 1 rem. See, we get our property. Now we get our class name which is m-4. So back to VS Code, and here in the p tag I will add m-4 and save it. If you don't get that output, try to refresh because browsers sometimes don't update that automatically. So I don't want to bore you by showing each and every style. There is a simple rule. Whatever style you want, you can search here and you get the list of all classes and apply for your project. There is no rocket science in it. In VS Code, you only need to type the first word of that class, and that extension will show you the list of all related classes. I will show you one trick here. When you select that suggestion with the arrow keys, on the right side you can see the actual CSS properties. So you can see multiple styles without applying them, and that will save you a lot of time. In the next lesson, I will give you a small exercise so you can familiar with the use of documentation. Alright, you can find the exercise file in the resources folder. Open this Word file and you get all the exercises here with the checklist of tasks. I will show you how to do this exercise. First of all, read the instructions and after completing each task, check the checkbox in front of the task. It will boost your confidence. Let me show you one task, and in a similar way, you can also complete the other task. So we need to copy this boilerplate and paste it into your Tailwind project. Or you can use the online editor of Tailwind on play.tailwindcss.com. You just need to add classes in this code. And here I made different sections of tasks for heading, paragraph and div tag. So for the heading, I want to change the font size to 1.875 rem. So head over to documentation and search here font size. And you need to find 1.875 rem on the right side. Let me show you a little trick here. When there are too many properties and you want to find one property, press Ctrl+F or Command+F and search here 1.875 rem. I found this property and its class name is text-3xl. So back to VS Code and I will add class text-3xl in the heading tag. Save it and take a look. We get the result. Now I will check the checkbox of the first task. You just need to search the style and add these classes like this. The solutions are available in the exercise file. So I want you to try this exercise by yourself, and if you have some doubt, feel free to ask in Q&A section. So in this lesson, I will show you some of the best features in Tailwind CSS. First we will see hover effect. It is similar as we do in Tailwind CSS, but you just need to add hover before every class. For example, I have this simple button here and I want to change its background color to blue-800 on hover. So back to VS Code and I simply add here hover bg-blue-800 and that's it. Save it and take a look. Now I want to change the text color on the hover. Again write hover text-white and save it. See, we get these effects without writing any custom styles. Let's have a look at the documentation. In the core concept section, open this hover focus page. Here you can see an easy explanation about hover, focus, active and much more. You can go through it and its implementation is the same as hover. I don't want to bore you with explaining each effect because it's very simple and easy. There are a few prefixes that I think you should know: hover, focus, group, first child, last child, even, odd, before, after, and just read that other topics from this list. We will try to cover these topics when we create our project. In this lesson, we are going to talk about responsive design. Responsive design is one of the most important and easy topic in Tailwind CSS. It works the same as hover and focus effects. You just need to understand the basic concept of it. So here you can see the list of breakpoint prefixes with the minimum width property. For example, SM is for 640 pixel and larger than that, and MD for 768 pixel and larger than that, and so on. This is a simple button and I want to change the background color for 640 pixel screens and larger than that. So I write SM:BG-yellow-500. Save it and back to Chrome. Now right click on the screen and go to Inspect. And click on this device toolbar. And you can change screen size. When our screen size is larger than 640 pixel, button color change to yellow 500. Now, if you also want to change the text color, add one more time SM:text-white and save it. See, both styles works well. Now I want to change the background color to purple for medium screens. So just write MD:BG-purple-400 and save it. See, when screen size is larger than 640 pixel, it will apply that yellow background and white text. And when screen size is larger than 768 pixel, it will change the background color to purple 400. So you can add n number of classes here for different screens. It's totally up to you. Just add the breakpoint prefix and start working on responsive design without leaving your HTML. If we want to apply this same responsive design in normal CSS, we have to write this code. You can compare this code with Tailwind CSS code. This is why I love Tailwind CSS for these cool features. Nowadays, dark mode in websites is pretty common. So almost every tech company wants their website in light version and dark version, because now people are visiting websites more on mobile devices and TV rather than desktop. Here is an interesting survey of 2021, which proves that 56% of users use mobile devices for visiting websites, and this percentage will going to increase in near future. So, dark and light both versions are important for user and developers. And Tailwind made this process much faster and easy for all developers. You just need to use the dark prefix before each style. It implements the same as hover and focus prefixes. So here I am taking one simple button and add dark:BG-gray-400 and dark:text-white for gray background and white text. Save it and take a look. If your operating system's theme is dark, then that dark styles will apply. For changing the operating system's theme in Windows, right-click on the desktop and go to Personalize section, and then Themes. Now click on this color option and choose your color to dark. And you can see the changes in the button. Now another way to use dark mode is by using class, which means you have to manually toggle dark class in HTML tag. So open the Tailwind config file and write dark mode class and save it. If your dark mode is set to media, it will consider the operating system theme. And if you want to manually toggle dark mode, you need to write class in HTML tag. Now back to our HTML file, and in this HTML tag, write class equals to dark. And you see the changes. If you remove the dark class from HTML tag, that dark prefix will not apply. In this next exercise, I will try to cover effects, responsive design, and dark mode. If you want to do that, you can get this exercise in this exercise doc file with solution. And if you don't want to complete this exercise, you can skip this. It's totally up to you. In this lesson, we are going to talk about Tailwind CSS configuration for customized styles, or we can say that to add our own styles in Tailwind CSS. There are two ways to add custom styles. First is we can use square bracket for apply custom CSS for our project. Here I want to apply 500 pixel width for paragraph. So I simply write w-500 pixel in square bracket and save it. See, the width is 500 pixel. And now I want to change the height to 500 pixel. So write h-500 pixel in square bracket and save it. See, width and height both are set to 500 pixel. This works same for margin, padding, positions, grids, and much more. This all available on adding custom styles page in documentation. Now back to the second method to customize Tailwind CSS. Second method is using the tailwind.config file. People who are new to Tailwind CSS are little scared with this customized process. That's why I am introducing this topic at the last of this section. This is very simple and easy to customize Tailwind styles. Imagine I want to add my custom color in it. Let me show you one best trick here, which I love to use. First of all, I am going to rename this tailwind.config file to tailwind.config1.js. So, Tailwind don't use this file for generating Tailwind styles. Then open up terminal and write npx tailwind css init --full and press enter. This command will generate a new tailwind.config file with all styles which Tailwind use. Now first of all, copy that content from the old config file and paste it here and save it. So you can see all styles which are available in Tailwind CSS. You can easily change it, remove it, or you can add your own styles. So in the color object, I want to add one color for heading. So first I will write heading, which is the name of this color, colon, and in double or single inverted comma write has BADA55 and save it. Nice. Now back to HTML file, and here I'll write text-heading, and you see suggestions shows our style. Save it and take a look. You can use any method for customized Tailwind CSS. It's totally up to you. And if you have any question, you can ask below. I will reply all of them. In this lesson, I am going to talk about declaratives and function in Tailwind. Tailwind has a few declaratives, and one of them we are already using is Tailwind. We use this Tailwind declarative to insert and generate Tailwind's base, components, and utilities. Next is apply, which is very useful to make our markup looks clean. You see there are a bunch of classes for this button, and our HTML code looks a little bit ugly. And as a web developer, I know many clients who want their code clean and easy to read. So here you can use the apply declarative. First, go to main.css file and write .btn, and in the curly braces write @apply and then paste all classes here. Save it, and in the HTML file add class btn and save it. See, it works the same as before. Now the next is layer. You can use this layer declarative to tell Tailwind which set of custom styles belong in which category. For example, we define that btn style, so we can wrap up that with @layer components. It is an optional step, you can skip that, but for good practice, we will write that. Now, let's see about functions. There are only 2 functions available for now, but Tailwind will update that list in the future. The first one is the theme function. By using theme function, we access Tailwind config values using dot notation. You can refer this example for that. And the last one is the screen function, which accepts a screen name like SM, MD, and generates a media feature for that. If you have some doubts about this section, don't worry, in the next section, we will work on the Tesla project. And in this, I will show you the full workflow for creating a website in Tailwind CSS. So see you in the next section. In this section, we are going to build a beautiful looking Tesla landing page with the use of Tailwind CSS. On the navbar, we can see different cars' name, and when we hover over this link, we can see the smooth hover effect, and when we click on this name, it will lead us to that car section with a scrolling effect. And here are some text and buttons, and at the bottom of every image, we can see the bouncing effect on that arrow, and by clicking on it, we will go to the next car section. I am very excited about this project and hope you are too. So let's jump into this project. Alright, so first of all, open up your Tailwind CSS project if you already created, or you can create a new one by using my installation guide in the resources folder. But in my suggestion, you should create a new project so you can go through the installation process one more time. Now, after completing the installation process, open the resources folder, and in that, you get an images folder. So drag that into the public folder. Now we are changing the title of the website to Electric Cars, Solar and Clean Energy, Tesla, and also adding a fav icon for the website. So write link : fav icon and press tab, and type here /images/fav icon and save it. Now right click on the HTML file and click on open with live server. See, title and fav icon is changed. Now in the next video, we are going to create navbar. Alright, let's start with the navbar. First of all, we write all HTML markup for creating this navbar, which is fixed at the top of the page. So I divided the navbar into 3 sections. The first one is the logo, the second one is for the car links, and the last one is for these 3 links. Now, I will go a little faster for HTML because we are learning Tailwind CSS here. So head over to HTML file, and in the body, create header. And in the header, first I will add 3 comments. The first one is the logo, the second nav links, and the last external links. In logo, create image tag, and in the src, write .images/tesla.svg. Now for nav links, we are creating one div, and inside this div, we will add all our links. So write a, and in href, write /model s and model s. Now duplicate this link 5 more times with the help of Shift Alt plus down arrow, and change model's link and name. Now for external links, again create one div and add one link and duplicate it 2 more times, and then enter names like shop, account and menu and save it. Make sure you start your live server from here, or you can right click on index.html file and open with live server. See, we are done with HTML markup for the navbar. If you do not get updated output, you can refresh this page because sometimes the live server doesn't refresh CSS styles. Now first of all, we will add some basic style for our HTML. So head over to main.css and write HTML font size 62.5% to set one rem equals to 10 pixel for easily convert pixel to rem, and scroll behavior to smooth. Save it. Make sure you started watcher script in the terminal. Now I also want to add one Google font to our project. So head over to fonts.google.com and search Montserrat, and we need only 4 font weights of this font. So add 300, 400, 500 and 600 and go to the import section and copy this import URL and paste it at the top of the main.css. And in HTML, we will apply font style Montserrat and save it. Now we are adding all styles for our navbar. So we will add a bunch of classes for the header tag. So I want to apply display flex first. And if I don't remember its class name, I will simply go to the documentation and search here display, and I can see that class. So feel free to search in documentation, or you can simply search on Google. As you use Tailwind CSS, you will automatically remember its class name or the start of that class, and then auto suggestion will save a lot of time. So flex for display flex, items center for align items vertically center, and justify between for space between, and w-full for 100% of the width, fixed for position fixed, and to set at the top of the page, so write top-0 and z-10 to increase z index to 10. Now we are adding our customized style, which is height and padding. So write h dash in square bracket 5.4 rem, and for padding p dash in square bracket 3.2 rem, and save it. Now we just need to add h-6 to set logo height to 1.5 rem. Next we are going to style our links. So write class equals to text dash 2xl for larger text, font dash semi-bold for 600 font weight, text dash in square bracket has 181b21 for text color, mx dash 0.8 for left and right margin, px dash 0.8 for left and right padding, py dash 0.4 for top bottom padding, rounded dash 0.8 for border radius, and bg dash transparent for transparent background, and save it. Now we are going to add hover effect on the link. So write hover bg dash in square bracket has 181b21 and hover bg dash opacity dash 10 for changing the background color and opacity. Save it and take a look. You can see when we hover over this effect, it will appear suddenly. So we need to add transition here. Back to VS Code and add transition all and duration to 300 and save it. See, we add smooth animation here. Now we are done with the link styling, but our HTML markup looks ugly with these too many classes names. So first of all, I will copy all the classes of header tag and go to the main.css and create .navbar and in the curly braces write @apply and paste all classes here. Now back to the HTML file and copy all classes of link and in the main.css create .navlink and in the curly braces write @apply and paste all classes here and save it. Now back to our HTML file and add nav_link to the link and navbar for header and save it. Now for all links, we are copying and pasting nav_link. You can add multiple cursor by pressing Alt key in Windows and Option key in Mac. Save it and take a look. Our navbar is ready with a smooth animation. So in this lesson, we are going to create a car image section. First of all, create a section and here add the same ID you created for model S in the links, which is model S. Now here, I will create class first, so we don't need to copy and paste all styles. I will take car_section. You can take anything you want. Now go to the main.css and write car_section and in the curly braces @apply and I want to set width to 100% and height to screen size and save it. In this section, we want model S full image. So create an image and in the source link model S image and in alt write model S image, which is a good practice for SEO friendly website, and class car_image. Save it and in the main.css file apply style for car_image. So add width 100%, height 100% and object cover for cover full section. Save it and take a look. We perfectly set the image at the center of the section. Now, first of all, we are going to add two headings at the top center of the image. So create one div and in that div, create one h1 for car title, which is model S, and h2 for tagline order online for touchless delivery. Save it and you see we get this title after image, but we want to set titles at the top center of the image. So I will give class which is car_details and save it. Now go to the main.css and create .car_details and apply absolute for the position, top 20% and left 50% and text center. Save it and take a look. We completed our half task and we need to set transform property, but I don't get the translate -50% to -50% property. So I will not waste my time and manually add property here. It works the same because main motive for using Tailwind CSS is to build our website fast and lightweight. So create a new class transfer_50 and write transform : translate -50% to -50% and save it. And add transform_50 in div class and save it. See, we get our result. Now let's add style to the h1. I will give it class model underscore name, and in the main.css write dot model underscore name and apply text for rem for font size text dash has 393 C41 and font semi bold. Now for h2 I will give class tag underscore line, and in the main.css write dot tag underscore line and apply text has 4c4 d50 and text dash 2xl for font size. Now I want to add an underline for touchless delivery. So I will wrap up this text with span tag. So press Ctrl plus Shift plus P in Windows and Command plus Shift plus P in Mac and search wrap with abbreviation and write span and enter. Now in that tag add class equals to underline and cursor pointer. Save it and take a look. So we are done with the heading. In this lesson, we are going to add buttons to the image section. So in the HTML file, create a div, and into this div, we are going to add two buttons. The first one is for custom order and the second one is for existing inventory. Save it and take a look. Again we get these buttons after the image. So we need to set the buttons div at the bottom center. So I will add one class car underscore buttons for this div. And in the main.css, apply absolute for position, top 85%, left 50%, and save it. And also add transform underscore 50 in the class. Save it and see, we centered these buttons. Now we will add styles for these buttons. So I will give the same class to both of them, btn. And in the main.css, apply text-2xl for font size, text-white for color, bg-has 171820 for background, font-medium for font weight, uppercase, my-2 for top bottom margin, py-0.4 rem for top bottom padding, px-2.4 rem for left right padding, rounded-3.2 rem for border radius, w-25.5 rem for the width, h-16 for 4 rem height, and bg-opacity-80 for background opacity. Save it and take a look. We get our custom order button, but we have to modify existing inventory button. So we will override some style for this button. So we will add class inventory after btn. And in main.css, add .inventory and apply text-has 393 C41, bg-white, bg-opacity-60, and ml-8 for margin left. Save it and take a look. We get our buttons with different styles. Now open down.svg from the images folder and copy this code and paste it into an HTML file. Add class down_svg on svg tag. Now in the main.css file, write down_svg and apply block for display block, w-full for 100% of the width, h-20 for height, mx-auto for margin left and right both on auto, absolute for position, and top-93%. Save it and take a look. We placed our arrow at the bottom center. Now we only need to add animation for this arrow. So back to main.css and add animate-bounce and save it. See, we get a smooth bouncing effect for our arrow. Now I will wrap up this SVG with a tag and add has model 3 in href. So when we click on this arrow, the page will scroll down to the model 3 section. Save it and take a look. So in the next lesson, we are going to add all section for this page. First of all, we will solve one small mistake, which is we need to shift all this code into the section tag. So select this code and press Alt plus up key in Windows and Option plus up key in Mac. Now continue with the lesson. So in the last lesson, we complete our car model component for this page. So we will duplicate that section for all models. And I suggest you add this style of comment because it's quite confusing to change the code later. Now copy this code and paste it after that. So in this section, we need to change 4 things. First, section ID equals to model 3. Section image name model3.jfif, and here also model 3 image. Third, model name, and last for down arrow link to next model name, which is model X. So I will do this step for all these components. Make sure you follow the Navbar links order for all section and remove the down arrow from the last model. You can also try this part by yourself. Done. Save it and take a look. Tesla landing page is ready. Refresh this page and see the smooth scrolling effect for all models. To make this website responsive, we need to only do 2 things. First, hide all links except the menu link, and second, change the direction of this button to vertical for small devices. So first of all, remember the concept of Tailwind responsive design, which is by default we write styles for smaller devices, and we can change styles for up to 640 pixel devices. So for this all links, we will hide this full div for the smaller screens, and for the large screen, we will show these links. So write hidden for hiding all links and LG:block, which means for only larger screens, this div will visible. Save it and take a look. See, when we cross 640 pixel, these links are visible. Copy these 2 classes and paste them for the shop and account link. Now we will add some classes in main.css for btn_div. Write flex for display flex, flash-call for flex direction to column, and lg:/-row for flex direction to row for larger screens. Save it and take a look. See, here we only need margin left for large screens. So in the inventory class, add lg prefix for margin left. Save it and take a look. In this lesson, we are going to optimize our Tailwind CSS file for production, which means our Tailwind CSS file size is going to reduce. and that will help you to make your website more lightweight, and if you are working on someone else's project, they will also like that. So first, check your Tailwind CSS file size by right-click on the file and reveal in File Explorer. See, file size is 11 KB. Now back to VS Code and open Terminal and install CSS Nano, which is a tool for removing white spaces, comments, and optimizing your CSS for production. Note that always add CSS Nano after completing your project. So write npm install CSS Nano and press enter. Make sure you update your build and watch command in the package.json file. Now in the PostCSS.config file, add CSS Nano curly brackets and save it. Now run the build command in the terminal npm run build and take a look. All white spaces, comments, outdated prefixes are removed from tailwind.css file. Now again check CSS file size by right click and reveal in File Explorer. See, file size is 6 KB, which means almost 40 to 50% size reduced by this method, which is very lightweight. Now if you want to change something or update your project, you can comment out this CSS Nano line by pressing Ctrl+/ or Command+/ and run build script, or you can continue with CSS Nano also.